Hi, I'm Tuyet-Mai and I'm majoring in math and also a senior in California State University of Fullerton. I'm here to discuss a topic about how the lack of diversity in a community could cause segregation. And from this discussion, I would like to gain knowledge of this issue through the interviewers I've selected for this documentary. The first interviewer I've selected is a substitute teacher, Mr. Dong Nguyen, and he has a 5-year history of experience in the teaching field. And for my second interviewer, I selected a female high school junior student by the name Nancy Nguyen. Where did you grow and what is your ethnicity?
I grew up around Garden Grove, California throughout my whole life, and my ethnicity is Asian.
At home, what is your culture like?
At home, my culture is not as strict, but it's pretty flexible too. And as a kid, I was taught to, never wear my slippers or shoes inside the house. Always take it off before coming into an Asian house. But as I grew up, my family became more Americanized, so we actually wear shoes inside the house now. It's okay. Unless we go to other Vietnamese people houses, then we must take off our shoes and slippers. And as a kid, I was also taught to respect my elders, no matter who they are, no matter what race. I should always respect them, and I still do. And another thing that Asians take really seriously is religion. Religion is actually top priority in every single, Vietnamese houses and stuff. You actually see like monuments or like shrines around the house.
Among your friends, how diverse are they?
Among my friends, we aren't that diverse, but I have different type of race that are my friends and stuff. Well, 90% or 80% of my friends are Asians, and these people are people who I actually hang out at school and out of school. While the other 20% consists of Hispanics, Caucasian, and African Americans, and these are people I only talk at school. I see them more as classmates.
I grew up around here in Orange County, and my ethnicity is Asian, Vietnamese.
Friends, how diverse are they? And how diverse are your parents' friends?
I would say with me and my friends, I think about a little over half of them are probably Asian, of different type of Asians like Korean, Japanese, Vietnamese, Filipino, Chinese. And I would say 25 to 1/3 of my friends are actually Hispanic, African American, Caucasian. With my parents, I would say that the majority of their friends, 90%, are Vietnamese.
So now we have a better understanding of who these people are. We will continue to their personal thought and experience they have with regards to the knowledge of segregation and diversity.
For me, I think there are benefits to both ways. Sometimes when you're grouped in let's say, a class with a similar race, people can relate to each other a little bit better, and maybe they can help each other a little bit better in that way. But also, diversity also creates, I would say, understanding of each other's cultures and adaptations. I wouldn't say that it necessarily contributes to a higher grade, but I would say that it contributes to understanding of other cultures and being accepting of more cultures. So students are able to have more of an open mind. Well, what I think is there is a possibility of that happening because when you segregate a school, they fail to understand kids from other background, and things are more narrow-minded. For example, you think about like your community or your neighborhood. If there's a neighborhood that has primarily Asians, and let's say conversely to one Hispanic person, sometimes that Asian community can kind of just like outcast that Hispanic person, and then that Hispanic person in return might not socialize or get along too well with their neighbors as well. If you notice there are certain parts of neighborhoods, like let's say Santa Ana, there's a certain part of Santa Ana where there's predominantly, like let's say Hispanic, and then when you go to a certain area, like let's say Garden Grove, they have all the Korean places there, a lot of Asian places there. You go to Tulsa, you see a lot of Asian places there, so you will see like an Asian community there. So I do believe that neighborhoods do kind of segregate themselves in certain parts of cities.
In my opinion, I don't see how diversity and stuff between races, among races, have anything to do with academic knowledge and stuff, because you learn how much you could, and people stereotype, oh, Asians are really good at math, they're really smart, they should be smart, But at my school, most of them are alright, they're not perfect, they're not super smart. Like me, I'm like an average student, and yeah, I guess it's just based on how much you can handle and learn. It doesn't really matter on your race or how segregated your school is and stuff, or you're diverse. Well, but I think of my school itself, it consists of probably 60% Asian, 30% Hispanic, and 10% like other races like Caucasian, African Americans. You could say that it does promote segregation because since there's so many Asians, they're actually always like together rather than including other races within our group and stuff. Because we don't really realize what is going around us, you know. And while the other 40% of the other races, they probably feel pretty segregated because there isn't much of them compared to like Asians or like Hispanics and stuff. So yeah, they look. There's this one time I went to a school, which is also high school, and I went in. I was expecting, oh, maybe there's like more one race than compared to others, but it was actually the opposite. I saw many different races, and the group that they consist of that hung out with each other were different races. It wasn't just one distinct race, like not just Asian, not just Hispanics or Caucasians. There's like one of each type of race in the group. So I thought about it and compared it to my school, and my school is really segregated.
Before my findings, I thought my interviewers would have strongly agreed about how the lack of diversity would impact segregation and contribute to academic performances, but instead they didn't believe the lack of diversity would influence academic performances. Mr. Dong Nguyen believed diversity doesn't contribute to the higher grade, but it contributes to the understanding of each other's culture, which in return builds a better relationship between the race. Nancy Nguyen also had the same thought as to Mr. Dong Nguyen. She believed that diversity doesn't influence whether or not a student would do well in school. It all depends on each individual. Although improving academic performances does not have any relation to diversity, they both agree the lack of diversity can really promote segregation. They both spoke about how the schools they witness and how a specific race is predominantly more than the other, and there's an issue because it can result in outcasting that inferior race, which is causing segregation.